Hey, sorry. Let me try to figure this out. Here we go. Just trying to share it on my page. It wasn't showing up right away. Um, while you wait, maybe you guys can share the show too. Um, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support all the time. You guys are amazing. Let me get back here. Um, as always, feel free to chime in if you guys have anything specific that you would like to talk about. I do have my list. I make one every show with things that other people want to talk about, things that happen to me throughout the week that I want to make sure that I bring up. Um, but anytime there's something that you guys want to talk about, just put it in the comments. We have such an amazing support group in the chat, I swear. Um, so if there's something you want to talk about, something that's bothering you, just type it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Last week was a bit emotional. I do apologize. I've been, really struggling lately and putting off doing the show because I kind of felt like I shouldn't be doing it because, I am trying to tell people things that they can do to get out of a funk, and I couldn't figure out how to do it on my own. So I wasn't feeling up to doing the show. But I think I'm over it. I think that I can get back to normal. And I just needed a reminder that, you know, it's important for people to hear other people being a mess. And so I'm excited to be back. And I am super thankful that you guys are here too, because it really does mean a lot to me. And this show was so important to me, and it just is so nice to have people feel the same way, that it's, something that helps them, or, whatever. So thank you for being here. Um, I figured that a very good topic, since I am absolute trash at it, is asking for help. Um, it seems that that is one of the worst things in the world to do. I think everybody would rather go get a root canal than to ask for help or to admit that they need help. Um, and it's funny because it's one of those things, I am one of those people that if somebody's going through something, I will tell them, like, call me if you need anything. I can't like financially support people. Nobody can, but um I'm very good and resourceful, and I could find the things that you need or help you get the things you need or brainstorm ideas to get the things that you need, whatever. But I am one of those people that when I say, call me if you need anything, or let me know if you need something, or, whatever, I mean it, like 100% mean it. Um, and I know that the people that are in my friends group, my amazing little bubble that I've created, I know that they're the same way. And I know that if I were to reach out for help, that it would not come with judgment or, anything like that. But it's still so hard. And I don't know why that's the thing. I sit here all day, every day, and tell people that, you can't do it on your own, and it's okay to reach out for help. And it's actually a strong thing to do, to admit that you need help and to to reach out to people, and it's such a good thing. It's such a good thing. It's such a good thing. And then, I need help and I just won't say a word. I won't say a word to anybody. I won't say a word to my husband. I won't say a word to anyone. Um, and it's not always about anything financial. Sometimes you just need help, like in the form of, I just need to chat somebody's ear off for, a little bit. I just need to vent about something. I just need to get myself motivated to do something. You know, Sometimes it's like I just need somebody to come over and get me motivated to clean my house. Um, I hate cleaning my house. I do. But I will clean other people's house like it's my job. And I saw a story where there's like this group of ladies, and what they do, and I'm sure they would let guys in there. That's not what I'm saying, but this group happened to be ladies. And what they would do is they would take turns like twice a week. They would go to somebody's house, and there was like 10 of them. And they would go to each other's houses, and they would alternate whose house they were going to, and all 10 of them would clean the same house. So you and 9 of your friends clean your house. And then, in a couple days, you go to somebody else's house. And it was actually super cool. And they always had such a good time when they did it. They were hanging out together. Their kids would play together. It was super cool. So, anyways, the point is, it's not always about, I feel like everybody needs financial help these days, but sometimes you just need other things. And I'm telling you, it's okay to ask for help. There's so many good people in this world. Speaking of which, here's Scott. Um, there's so many good people in this world. And sometimes you have to trust people when they say, if you need anything, let me know. Sometimes they're not just saying it because it's conversation piece and that's what they're supposed to say. And if you've surrounded yourself with the right type of people, then they mean it and you should take them up on it. Because I personally get a little bit offended when the people close to me are going through something and they haven't reached out for help. I do. I take it personally because I'm sitting over here. I could have talked to you. I could have, helped you with whatever you're working on. And you didn't call me. Like, why? Do you not trust me? Do you not, whatever? Did you think I was going to judge you? Because I'm not that kind of person. So hopefully you have people like that in your life. My office girl suggested having a nesting party before the baby comes, and I had never heard of that. So thoughtful and kind to hear that offered. I would never ask on my own. Yeah, but that would be amazing and such a burden off my shoulders. Yeah. When, gosh, I was probably like 25, but when my best friend and her husband were at the hospital having their baby, I knew where the key to their house was. And so a couple of us went over and we just cleaned their house. It really needed it, if I'm being honest. It took us a couple hours, but it was, when you're bringing a new baby home, the last thing you want to do is that sink full of dishes that's been sitting there now for 4 days while you were in the hospital. It is so nice to just be able to come home and have a clean house and not have to worry about it. But I think it's such a good, I don't know. I feel like we're so freaking stubborn. I think that's what it is. And I think that for some reason it's been drilled into our brains like, you have to do everything on your own. You have to be super strong. You have to be independent. And I honestly don't believe that that's the way humans were intended. I feel like we're herd animals. I feel like we should be helping each other all the time. Like, look at the Amish. They build whole freaking houses in like 2 days because everybody from the town comes together and gets it done. Like, I feel like we should be like that. you know, when somebody's having a baby, everybody go over and clean their house. You know, when I don't know, it just I just feel like it would be so much better if people would do that. And honestly, like we sit here and say, "Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm so busy. I can't do that." But at the end of the day, we're not. We're just choosing to focus our energy elsewhere. You know, how many times have you binged watched a show or, just sat around and watched Netflix or, just sat around and scrolled TikTok? It doesn't have to be devoting a whole entire day to getting something done for someone else, but maybe just an hour, you know, just schedule a time that works for people and set aside an hour of your time. And I don't think it would be that much, but the impact that it would have on everyone's lives would be so amazing. Because say I'm Sam, I'm going to keep using you as an example because it's up there on the screen, but say I go to Sam's house and I get together with the girls from the office and we clean up your house and you know we set up flowers and balloons for you to come home to, and you know that is going to make me feel so good. People underestimate how good it feels to help other people, and that is something that, like, first of all, I'm going to feel good while I'm doing it, and then it's going to be probably days or weeks that I'm still going to be, just think about it and smile. um It's such a good feeling to help other people, and I think that we need to do all of the things that we can to boost our serotonin or whatever it is that makes you happy. Um, I don't think that's the word. I don't think that's the right chemical of the brain. Dopamine. Um, I think that we can, yeah, sure, we could say we're busy and we could sit there and we could doom scroll on TikTok or, spend our time watching a show. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you really want to change how you're feeling, a great way to do that is to help other people. And it's a little bit selfish because it does help you so much and changes your attitude so much. And then, yeah, it might be your turn someday. And if you need something, then those people will be there for you. It's not just like, I don't know. I'm not telling you to just go out and do things for other people all the time. Um, but then at the same time, it does make it easier if you have a group of people like that to actually reach out for help because you know that those people are not going to judge you because you're part of those people and you're just like them. So I don't know. I just feel like we're so hardwired to be so independent, and I don't think that's the way it should be. I think that we should depend on each other a little bit more. Um, Sam agrees 100%. There we go. It's settled. Case closed. So gratifying to know that you made someone's heart smile and made their day just a little bit easier. I couldn't agree more. Um, and it's like, okay, this lady posted a TikTok and she was asking for examples of a time that a random stranger was nice to you. And I commented and said that I was at Dollar Tree one time, and I probably, like, this was back when Dollar Tree was still a dollar. And I probably had like 25 or $30 worth of stuff. I usually go to Dollar Tree and stock up on, dish soap and shampoo and all kinds of stuff. So I buy a bunch. Anyways, I get to the end of all of my stuff, and the lady behind me looks at the cashier and says, "Keep going." And the cashier is like, "What?" And she was like, "Keep going. I'm going to pay for her stuff. Just put it on my bill." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" Like, it was so magical. I felt so good when she did that. And I still talk about it. And I still, every time I go to Dollar Tree, like, have flashbacks of her doing that. It was so nice. Um, And we've talked about this on the show before too. It's not just me getting, someone to help me, like that lady paying for my stuff. And it's not just her, the lady who paid for the stuff. Yes, we both are going to feel amazing. But you know who else is? The cashier and the person behind that lady in line and the people who were in the other line. Like anybody who witnesses it is going to have that little dopamine boost too. And they're going to be filled with joy and their hearts are going to smile. So it's so contagious. Tina agrees 100% as well. See, it's settled. Being nice to others fills me up with joy. I agree. It's not even, and it doesn't even have to be about money. I think that's the thing that people don't understand. Yeah, that lady paid 25 or $30 for me, and that was a lot. Like, oh my gosh, especially being at the dollar store. That's like so much. But, even something simple, like if somebody drops something, pick it up for them, hold the door for somebody, there's so many things that you can do that are just little tiny things that really just make a big difference. Um, we always talk about how your words are super important. And if somebody is in a really bad place and you say it could be that one last thing, that one last insult, that one last heartbreaking thing that somebody said to them, and that could be it. They could make terrible decisions after that, if you get what I'm saying. But it can go the other way too. Somebody could be feeling terrible about themselves. Somebody could be losing their faith in humanity. And that little tiny act that you do could be what changes everything for them and sets them back on the right path. Um, there's a there's a cashier at the Walmart in Madison, and anytime she's working, I always pay attention to what she's saying because I've been in her line before, and she just every single customer, she makes sure that she points out something that she loves about their outfit or, their attitude, their hair, whatever. Um, she's commented on my hair a few times. She's commented on my outfit. And she was so cute because she was like, I love your shirt. And I was like, oh, no, she said, I love your hat. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I turned around because I wasn't at her line. And I turned around and she was like, oh my gosh, I just like your whole vibe. And like, I felt like I was dressed like a homeless person. But she was like, I just love your whole vibe. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Um, but she's amazing. She does it all the time, and I will just listen to her and she'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I love that bag," or just anything like, "Oh, those shoes are cool. Where'd you get those?" And it just makes people feel good. And it's such a simple thing. It doesn't cost her any time or energy or anything else. It's literally free. And she probably feels so good at the end of the day. She's just been passing out compliments like crazy. Um, so it's just super important, and it does. It does help to be helpful. What's up, patience? Um, but I did want to tell you guys too, if you are struggling literally with anything, um, if it's food or paying your bills or paying your rent or, clothes for the kids or whatever, um, I don't know how many people know this because we're at a time now where there's like new poor people. Not everybody's struggled before. Not everybody knows different resources, but um, you can actually call 211 on your phone. You just hit 211 and send. And there are some wonderful, helpful, super amazing, non judgmental ladies that will answer the phone. And you just tell them what's going on. You'll probably cry. That's okay. I've cried many times when I've had to call them. Um, and you just tell them what's going on and they'll say, okay, so for clothes, you can go to this place. Here's a phone number to call about your electric bill, whatever. And they will just help you. Um, I don't think that it's an actual like agency that actually can help anybody, but They have a whole huge list of all of these different resources for every single thing that you could possibly need. So please keep that in mind. Also, like I mentioned a little earlier, I am super good and super resourceful. I'm super good at getting things for free. I know that sounds like a weird thing. I'm not stealing things, but I it's like a weird quirk that the universe decided to give me. So if you need any ideas on how to get things, whatever you're working on, whatever you need, just let me know. And I probably know where you could get it for free. Um, okay. Patients, you are struggling with not sleeping. I have no idea how to solve that one. I sleep very little. Probably a huge part of all of my problems, but I know that like being relaxed and not having anxiety definitely helps with sleeping and melatonin. But that gives some people bad dreams. Scott would also recommend taking vitamin D in Ohio. Seasonal depression disorder is huge, and vitamin D works to help alleviate these symptoms. I can definitely appreciate that. Gosh, I also don't think that we are meant to be stuck inside, whether it's cold or not. I think that we are supposed to be outside because it is amazing the difference that I feel just going for a walk outside. Even if it's winter time, sometimes you just need to get outside. And if you can't get the sunshine, then vitamin D is definitely good. Scott is full of super good information as always. He said every county in Ohio also has, what is that? Adams board. It's ADAMHS for anyone who's not looking at the screen. This is the Board of Mental Health that can also connect people to community resources. That's good to know. Super good to know. I have been seeing a lot, maybe because my Facebook algorithm or whatever, but I've been seeing a lot of things that are like, you can call this place and it's free mental health, like talk to a therapist, whatever. I'm so hesitant to share those because I don't know who's on the other end of that. So it's probably better to go to this Adams board or whatever that Scott is saying. Yeah, he said pronounced Adams. It's probably better to go to something like that because you never know. Anybody can develop an app and then Scott said we aren't meant to be stuck inside, which is why vitamin D is such a problem in Ohio in the winter. It really does make a difference. It really, really, really does. They also have SAD lamps, they're called. It's a punny name. But they are meant to do the same thing, like to give you artificial sunlight so that you feel a little bit happier. Tina said there are self hypnosis videos for sleep on YouTube that have helped her. Um, I might have to try that. I know I've listened to like they have videos that are like white noise or brown noise or green noise or whatever. There's literally every color of noise. And they are different. Maybe not to everybody, but all right. Scott says yes, but also remember any licensed mental health professional can give or can have their license looked up. That's true. On the Ohio Counselor and Social Worker License Board, whether a person is in good standing with the board is public record. So I wonder if when you like call or text somebody on those apps, if they give you their license number. Probably. I would assume that they probably have to. But I don't know. I've been tempted, honestly, just to use some of them just to see what it's like. But then if I do it and I get somebody else and then you do it and get somebody different, then I don't know. I'm really not helping you. They are to provide it if asked. I knew what you meant. Um, yeah, so that's good. If you do ever try any of those things, because I've talked to a lot of people who would like to go to talk to somebody, but it's not covered on their insurance or they just can't afford a copay even. There's a lot of people who can't even afford a copay right now. So I wanted to look into those things. Maybe I'll make that my homework. I'll get hyper focused on that and do that. Um, Scott, didn't we talk last week about apologizing for things that you don't need to apologize for? Um, but I agree because it's very hard to tell what somebody's saying in a text message. So I do the same thing. And even I will like read over my message and I'll be like, ooh, that sounded a little bit bitchy, or that sounded, I don't know, whatever. And so I'll like go into this whole long explanation of what I meant by my message. And then they're usually like, yeah, I know what you meant. But it's super hard to see what people are saying. That's why I like those like voice recording things. I do those a lot. Probably everybody in the comments has gotten them from me because it's so much easier sometimes. But if I have like a lot to say, or if it's something that I know could be misconstrued, if I type it out, I'll do the voice messages because it's a lot better. That's okay. That was a good segue. But that was the other thing I wanted to talk about with like making time to do things with other people, because I feel like if I didn't have my job, if I had a different job, maybe where like I just worked on the computer or something, um, and obviously the podcasts, but if I didn't do those things, there could be days where I just like don't talk. You know what I mean? Like don't interact with anybody outside of my house. And like, yeah, we all say that that's all we want is I just want to stay home and blah blah blah. But I don't think we're made for that. I don't think we're made for that. I think that we're made to be around people and to help people and to socialize and whatever. And I just feel like we've gotten so far away from that. Um, it's like the cool thing to do now. Everybody talks about like, oh, self-care. I'm just gonna stay home and make some popcorn and watch TV, or I'm just gonna stay home and take a bath and whatever. I don't know. I just feel like I especially am not made for that. As much as I like to think that I am. And then, my brain will convince me certain times that that's all you want to do. You don't want to do anything. You just want to stay home. But then like once I force myself to get out of the house and to go do something, um, then I start to feel better. And sometimes I'll just ask my boss for like random tasks. Like, do you have anything you need me to do? Um, just so I can leave the house and like talk to other people. And I don't know, it just feels very different. So maybe it's just the whole like, um, what is it called? Like the repetitiveness of it, like just the same thing every single day. Like, cool, you eat 3 meals and, work on your computer at home and watch TV, and that's it. And I don't know, that's not very exciting, like I think it's good to find hobbies or something to do. Um, And it doesn't even have to be like how I said I ask my boss if she has anything for me to do, because like we help a lot of people at work through our Aces Angels program, and like one of the things that she needed was for somebody to go to our office and pick up a couple of packs of diapers and drop them off to somebody who needed them and didn't have a car, and was struggling with like money or whatever. Cool, I'll do it. So it doesn't even have to be like a real thing. That was a real thing that needed to be done, but you don't have to find like real things that need to be done. Like one of the things that I love doing is like researching houses and figuring out who lived there and what stories come from that house or whatever. And so one of my things that I would like to start doing is just picking a random ass house in my town and start doing research on it. And, go visit the graves of the people that live there and whatever. That's a totally made up hobby that's free. But it makes me feel accomplished because, I set out to do something and I did it and I learned new things and I went to new places and whatever. Totally made up, totally weird, but totally effective. Um, I know we all have weird hobbies that we like to do. But keep in mind there's free weird hobbies too. Even if it's like, I don't know, just go for a walk around your town because we don't everybody's so like laser focused on the mission that you have to do, oh, I have to get to work. So you drive to work and you drive past the same houses and buildings all the time. But like, have you ever walked by them and like looked at them? Everything's totally different. I even like just being the passenger in the car because there's things on my own freaking street that never noticed before. And I'm talking like whole houses. There's a whole house that I just noticed a week ago. And we've lived here for 14 years. I've driven by it so many times. But so even if it's something stupid like that, like, oh, I'm going to walk around this area today and just see what kind of houses are there. And then make up a story in your head about whoever lives in that house, and what they do for a living and how many kids they have and what kind of pets they have. Whatever, totally made up, totally free, and it helps. Just something. Our lives are just full of monotony. Is that the word? When it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Um, and I feel like that is draining on your soul, 100%. I feel that way because that's the way it is for me. If I am just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I go crazy, literally crazy. And it just helps for me to step away from the things that I do every day and do something different to, I don't know, give my brain something to be excited about instead of like dreading the everyday tasks that we have to do all the time. Plus, like, I don't know, man, life's way too short to just do the same shit every day. Like, go on an adventure, even if it's not a trip to Egypt. Like, go do something that's gonna make your brain happy. Um, and oh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Um, I had someone who is in my family called me while I was in Florida. And um it ended up being like 2 hours on the phone, and it ended up being like a whole therapy session, and not for me, surprisingly. Um, but she was, like, really stressing, really, really stressing about, a situation in her life that she had 0 control over. But I've been seeing a lot lately, well, honestly, a lot my whole life, but especially lately because things seem to be a little more chaotic than normal. Um, I've been seeing a lot of people like losing a job or, um, something that's honestly terrible, but it ends up being so much better in the end. Um, for someone who stresses and has anxiety, I also have this like 100% 100% faith in the universe. Whatever is meant to be is going to happen. And it's so hard at the time to not be stressed out. Like, obviously, you lose your job, you're going to be very stressed out, right? But sometimes things have to happen that way because you get super comfortable and the universe is like, nah, 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 girl, you're not meant for this. And you're not going to leave on your own because you're stubborn and you're comfortable and whatever. So you just kind of get forced out of a situation that you're in. And it's super important to just remember that that was not the only job out there. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, you need that money. Yes, you're living paycheck to paycheck. But I I am such a firm believer in having faith in your universe or your God or your religion or whatever it is that you have faith in. Just have faith 100%. I tell this story all the time, but there was a time where we were about to have our electric shut off. Our bill was like $700. And I had a letter from the electric company that said that our electric was going to get shut off on Friday. And, my husband's stressing about it. And I said, babe, it'll be fine. He's like, it's not going to be fine. We owe this money by Friday or the power is going to get shut off. I'm like, babe, it's going to be fine. I just know it's going to be fine because I always just have faith. I don't know that it was going to be fine. But like that Tuesday, we got a check in the mail and it was for like $750 or like $800, just barely enough to cover what we needed to pay. But it was enough. And it was like so random because it was a insurance overpayment. I feel like insurance companies don't do that. They don't do like overpayments, like, whoops, you paid too much money. Here's a check. That was the first I had heard of it. In general. But I mean, like, they had never sent me a letter saying like, you have an overpayment. Do you want to do a credit towards your account? Do you want to check back? Like, there was nothing of the sort. And it worked out. Everything worked out fine. And I think that people really, 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 really underestimate the power that you have over what happens in your life. You will see that, and I'm obviously not saying in all cases, because I do know some very amazing people who have bad things happen to them. But you know how there's like the people who just complain all the time. Everything's terrible. Woe is me. I feel like those people just do not have gratitude and they don't ever see good things that happen in their life. People like that don't think about the lady who pays for their stuff at Dollar Tree. That's just like something that they brush off because they're so focused on everything negative. And I think that having gratitude is so freaking important. And it will completely change your life if you can shift your focus to one of gratitude. I learned this when my kids were little and I was so stressed out like all the time. Obviously, when you have a bunch of toddlers running around, I was doing home daycare at the time. I'm that was like the worst job of my life too, by the way. If anybody does home daycare, I applaud you because that was terrible. I did it for 8 years. But I'm sitting here, my house is a mess. I'm dealing with toddlers all day. I still can't pay the bills because I don't have like a regular job. You know what I mean? we paid the bills. I'm just saying, like, whatever. We weren't rich. Um, and I started to try to shift my focus to gratitude. Um, all of the dishes in the sink meant that my kids got to have 3 square meals a day. Um, you know, all of the toys that were all over the floor, it was not a burden. It was a way to show how loved and spoiled my children are. The fact that I couldn't work a regular job and I had to be home all the time and do home daycare, that meant that my kids never had to see the inside of a daycare. They don't even know what a daycare is because I was the one to get them off the bus every day. And when I shifted that focus and started to see things like in a positive way like that, like it really, really, really changed my entire mindset. And it made you start to train your brain. Your brain is just like anything else. Like I can't just walk up and bench press 200 pounds, right? I have to like work up to that. So like if it starts with every day thinking of one thing to be grateful for, like every night before you go to bed, think of something that happened that you're grateful for. Write it down or put it in a little one of those jars, gratitude jars. Um, or just think of it if you're not gonna if you're not gonna write it down. But just start with one thing. And if you have a bad day and you come home and you're like, oh my gosh, that was a terrible day, then force yourself to think of 3 things that you should be grateful for. People want to say F my life. Oh my God, I hate that saying so much. Um, People want to say that because their car broke down on the way to work and they were late. Okay, well, you have a car and you have a job and you're already doing way better than most people. Um, Look up the statistics for how many people don't even have access to clean drinking water. You know, so if your car breaks down and you have to have it towed to the shop and have to have something fixed, like be grateful that 1, you didn't get in an accident when your car broke down, and 2, that you had the means to be able to pay for your car to be fixed. And be grateful that you have a job that is understanding and let you be late without like worrying about being fired or whatever. Um, it's so important to start thinking about gratitude, especially in times where things are tough like this. Um, I'm not a stranger to it. I'm not naive to the fact that so many people are struggling right now. So I think that now more than ever, it's like so important for us to focus on the things that we have to be grateful for. And maybe it's not anything financial. Maybe we have nothing to be thankful for when it comes to like um your finances or whatever, but that's why I'm saying like shift your focus. Like focus on the people that you have in your life who are willing to come over if you need help or just to listen to you on the phone. Um I think people underestimate that too, like just being there. Everybody's so self-centered and everything now. Um so if you have somebody who is like, "Hey, call me," like freaking amazing. But I think that if you were to sit down and like, okay, your Facebook friends list is an easy way to do it, or your contacts in your phone. I think that if you were to sit down and look at those, and scroll through them and look at the people that you have in your life, you probably do have some amazing people. Um, some people who aren't going to judge you if you need help. Some people who aren't going to judge you if your house is a mess or you've worn the same clothes for 4 days in a row or you haven't taken a shower. There are people who are not gonna judge you for those things, and I think that everybody has them in their lives, but I think that maybe they just forget that they do because, again, we're so focused on the negative, and so we wanna focus on the people who maybe don't like us or talk shit or, cause drama or whatever, so we're so focused on the negative, but if you switch your focus to gratitude, I think you'll realize that you do have some amazing people in your life, um, and I think that we are not going to get through all of this, just life in general, if we are all trying to do it on our own. I think that we need to be able to rely on each other and we need to be there for each other in whatever manner that you can because it's it's crazy out there. And I think we're really, really, really up against something super powerful. Like, and I'm not talking about like paranormal or anything. Like we could talk about that on Thursday night. Um, but I think that just as a society, we've been so brainwashed and, you know, I don't know, whatever. It's been drilled into our heads for so long that you can't depend on anyone else. You should never ask anyone else for help. You should only look out for yourself. Um, you know, it's better to be home alone. Like there's so many things that are just constantly drilled into our heads and we're up against, social media, movies, television, celebrities, just so much telling people be alone and be independent. Like that's a lot to be up against, but I think that we need to try to do the opposite. And as hard as it is, I know it's hard. It's the hardest thing for me to ever do. We need to start asking for help if we need it. And I think we need to be there, actually be there for people when they ask for help. Um, because that's the thing that we do too. It's like when somebody says, "How are you?" "I'm good. How are you?" Like it's a robotic response. "Let me know if you need anything." Say that, but like mean it. And sometimes when people are super stubborn, you have to just like not take no for an answer. And instead of saying like, "Let me know if you need anything," just say like, "I'll be over on Thursday. What do you want from the store?" Or "I'm going to bring you lunch on Thursday. Do you want this or this?" You know what I mean? Like, don't give them a choice. Terry Long. Oh my gosh, Peggy Goodell. Peggy. Peggy said my Facebook friends are amazing. I effing love them. So, for anybody who doesn't know, first of all, Peggy Goodell is an angel who we are lucky enough walks on earth among us. Um, she's a phenomenal person, and we were at an event, and I was totally sober, by the way. Um, saw her from across the field, and I said, "I fucking love Peggy Goodell." I'm gonna shout it from the rooftops because I do. She's such a wonderful person, and so she says that all the time that she effing loves me. Hey, Terry, Peggy. Oh, that was so funny. I do not regret it. I would do it again, too, Peggy. Um, and fun fact, Peggy Goodell is the only one who has a signed poster from my other podcast from me and the crew. Because she's that special. But yeah. And you know what? Um, I feel like that's super important too. Like, we don't tell each other that we love each other enough because that's another thing that's like been, I don't know, like it's weird for somebody to say I love you. Like, why? Um, like, especially between, like, men and women. First of all, I have so many men in my life that I love with my whole heart. Do I love them the same way that I love my husband? Absolutely not. That man has a whole different kind of love that nobody will ever get. That's his. It's okay for me to love other people. Um, and if you have somebody that you love very much, freaking tell them. Life is way too short to not tell people that you love them or that you appreciate them or what it is that you love about them or whatever. Maybe you don't need to shout it from the rooftops or shout it across the field. Maybe you could just send them a text message and that would be good. But I think that it's so important to tell people things because we're all just sitting here at home, like feeling like failures and feeling alone and feeling down on ourselves. And how amazing would it be to just get a text message from somebody that's like, hey, you're a great mom. Hey, I'm super proud of you for getting that promotion at work. You know what? Whatever. Um, just tell people, hey, I freaking love you. You're amazing. That's it. Like, that's it. It's so easy. Again, it's free. It's free to be nice. Um, I was gonna say something about that. Terry said everybody effing loves you both. It's seriously so important though. And it's just another thing that can like totally oh no, my boss is calling me. Um, it's just another thing that can just totally change somebody's entire day, which can change their whole week, which can change their whole month, which can change their whole life. And it really is a snowball effect like that. Um, so please just do that. And actually, I feel like you should challenge yourself to tell somebody something every single day. Like every day be find something to be grateful for and every day tell somebody something good about themselves. Um and if you think about it, it could be anything. It doesn't I bet there's tons of people in your life that you could just send them like I don't know, just something like, "Hey, your artwork's really improving. I can't believe how far you've come." You know what I mean? Like, every single person has something that you can say to them. Um, so find somebody like every day. Find 5 people a day you can say something to. It doesn't always have to be in person. It doesn't always have to be something super magical that they're doing. Just say, "Hey, you're awesome. Keep it up." You didn't even cite a specific example about how they're awesome, you just said it. Um, I think that's important, and if we all started, like, talking to each other like that, it could change the world, one person at a time. Again, everybody's so vocal when things are bad. Um, People wanna complain about things, and people um wanna point out the flaws in other people. That's what's the loudest right now, and I think that's what's so hard, like, um, Julia Roberts, did you guys see that shit? Oh my god. She posted a picture of her and her niece, like, playing cards at her house, like, on a weekend morning, and people were like, "Oh my god, Julia Roberts looks so old. Oh, blah, blah, blah," and it's, like, tons and tons and tons of comments of people, like, saying all this negative stuff. I'm like, first of all, yes, Julia Roberts is allowed to get older, people, and also it's like Sunday morning, she's playing cards with her niece, she's not walking the red carpet, why does she need makeup and her hair done? But anyways, it's always the people who are the most negative, who are the loudest, and I think that we really need to try to fight that and, like, not play into it, first of all. Um, if somebody's saying all of these terrible things, like there's no point to try to argue with them because it's not going to work. Nobody's ever changed their mind from a rant on Facebook, I promise you. But I think that we just need to be louder with our positivity. Terry says we really need each other, especially this day and age. I agree, Terry. Something is so wrong. Something is so wrong in the world. Um, I'm only 41, which my kids would say, "Oh my god, you're 41, that's so old." But I feel like that's not old. And I feel like this world has changed so much just in my time being alive. And I'll even shorten it, just in my time that I remember, because obviously you don't remember like your first decade of life and how the world was, but like everything is so different and it's so weird to me. I feel like it's not that long. Like 41 years is not a long time for as much to change as it has. Even in the last couple of years, I'm going to be honest. It's just like I don't even recognize it anymore. And that was another thing that's like really, really been bringing me down lately. And so I'm trying to like combat that and I'm starting to work on it, but it's been very hard because sometimes it gets to a point where you're like, what's the point? Like, why am I even being nice to people when everybody in the world is just assholes? Everybody's so mean to each other. Nobody cares about other human beings anymore. Like, humanity is gone. Um, so like, what's the point, right? I literally every day would ask myself that. What is the point? I should just stop trying. I should just stop being nice to people. I should stop trying to spread love, but I think that it's so important. And I'm glad I snapped out of that phase because it's so much more important now than it ever has been. And we're up against more than we ever have been because we live in a time now where like, oh my gosh, you can't even have an opinion. You can't like say anything. Um, it's like everything that you do is just wrong to somebody. Somebody's always going to be mad. Um, so it got to a point where I was like, why am I even going to talk to anybody? Why am I going to talk to people? Like, I just make people mad every time I talk, and I don't intend to. That's never been who I am as a person. So, what's the point, right? But the point is that if we just stop being good to each other and we stop being nice to each other and we stop loving each other, then that's it. Like, let's be super dramatic and say, we're it. Like, humanity depends on people like us being nice to each other. Put it that way. Maybe it'll motivate you. But we have to set an example. We have to other people, not just kids. Everybody talks about setting examples to kids. Um, there's plenty of adults who need some examples to be set for them. People need to see that there's more to life than just hating people on the internet. And maybe if we just stop paying attention to those people, then they will stop being so loud and we could be the loud ones. Um, but yeah, so go out there, save humanity, be a good person, tell people you love them, tell people they're amazing, and reach out for help when you need it. Scott says, I feel like that too all the time. It's why I stay away from certain people now. Seems like all I ever do is make it worse. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And there have been a lot of people that I have let me specify, just because I don't talk to somebody anymore doesn't mean that like I wish them ill will or anything like that. But there have been a lot of people that I've just like cut out of my life because no matter how hard I tried, I wasn't ever going to be good enough and I wasn't ever going to say the right thing. So for both of our sakes, I just feel like it's better to walk away from people. And that doesn't mean that I hate them. I still love them. I still wish them the best. I will still clap for them. Um, but just I won't invite them over to hang out and watch a movie. um, Terry says, I feel like empathy has disappeared. So many self-centered people, like average comments on random posts can be so mean or rude. I literally can't believe them. We need to go back to our parents saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. These are adults. It's truly hard to wrap your head around. I agree. That's one of the things that, like, you know, where'd that go? Where did that go? Why don't we say that anymore? Um, I used to tell my kids, "Say nice things or say nothing," because I figured that was, like, an easier way for kids to understand it, but, like, what happened to that golden rule? Where did it go? Why did we stop doing it, and can we bring it back? Um, I completely agree that empathy is gone. People, especially on the internet, like, you could just comment and say whatever you want, right? You're a keyboard warrior. I'm going to tell people how they're dumb and how they're living their life wrong and how they're a bad mom and they're ugly and whatever. And people forget that that is a human being on the other end of that comment. That is not only that person. Like, perfect example. I don't know if you guys know this, but I went viral on Frito-Lay's website. Um, and it was because they had sent my son a bunch of things in mail for Christmas. And all I had done was I just wrote to them and I wanted like coupons because he wanted Flamin' Hot Cheetos for Christmas. So I was like, okay, well, so I reached out to the company to see if they would send coupons. They ended up sending me 2 huge boxes full of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. There was like Cheetos socks, there was Chester Cheeto plushies, like all kinds of cool stuff. So I made a video and it went viral. There's like 100,000 views on it or something, but Frito-Lay shared it, the Cheetos website shared it, and these people are like making mean comments. Like, first of all, I had thought the video was just going to be like just for my friends. I had no idea that it was going to be crazy like this. So like my makeup was all messed up. It was like yesterday's makeup. It was like halfway down my face. Looked like I had a black eye. My hair was a mess. I didn't care because the point of the video was how amazing this company was and how great of a Christmas my kids were going to have now. Um, that was the point of the video, not what I looked like, not what my hair looked like, whatever. And there's all these people commenting and like saying mean things on this video. And I'm like, it's not just that there's a human being on the other side of that comment. It's not just the fact that it's about me. It's about the fact that, like, you don't think my 14-year-old son is going to be super excited that his mom went viral and he's going to watch the video and then he has to sit there and look at all of those comments about what the world thinks of his mother? Or maybe there's somebody else who looks like me or has the same characteristics as me and now they're watching it and now they feel terrible about themselves. Like, why do we do that? Why do we do that? Those are human beings. And I don't understand where this disconnect, when it started or how it happened, but I hate it. I hate nobody has empathy for people. I watched a story where this person was literally getting beat up to the point where they passed away. And people saw it and did nothing. They did nothing. And I understand that, you know, you can't put yourself in a dangerous situation. You can't like get in the middle of this fight. You know, I understand that not everybody can do that, but nobody called 911. Nobody reached out for help. Nobody banded together to stop it. People just looked at it and then looked away. What is happening? It is certainly not the world that I remember, and I am not even that old. It's not like I'm sitting here telling my great grandkids, "Oh, back in my day." This was not that long ago. Um, and I don't understand where it came from. But I am very thankful to have good people in my life who remind me. And every once in a while, you know, when I am losing my faith in humanity, something will happen and I will have an interaction with a random stranger and it will completely restore my faith in humanity. And that's another reason why I think it's so important for you to go out and do random acts of kindness, because you might be the reminder that people need that not all of humanity is lost. Not everybody is a terrible person. Um, so I think it's super important to keep trying to remind people. And maybe someday, I don't know, maybe someday it'll be cool to be a good person again. But until then, we just have to kind of rely on each other and lean on each other and keep being a good example for the world. Um, but I do have to get off of here. And I hope that you guys will send somebody a message, post on their Facebook, um, you know, send them an email, give them a phone call, whatever you got to do. Tell a random stranger, but go and spread kindness and help people out when you can. And if you need help, for God's sake, just reach out and ask for help, because everybody needs help sometimes. And that's fine. That's fine. This is not me telling myself that it's fine. This is me telling you guys that it's fine. I know that it seems terrible, but like once you actually do ask for help, then you're like, okay, that was not so bad. Um, so if you need help, just reach out. And if you need help with like certain resources, let me know and I'll try to help you figure out where you can go. Because I think that the only way we're going to get through this is with each other. And so let's work on that. It's us against the rest of the world. So we got to rely on each other sometimes. I love you too, Terry. I miss you. Oh, I'm going to be coming down there soon. Just so you know. But I will talk to you guys next week. As always, if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know. I'll add it to my list for next week and we will talk about it on the show. You guys have never, ever, ever seen me talk about who gives me these topics. So you know that it's confidential and that I will not say anything. I will not tell your name. It's not my story to tell, but I will talk about things if you want me to. So you can send it over to the page, the Conductor Trainwreck. Don't send it to RU Media because other people have access to that one. Or you can send it to my personal Facebook. But Terry, I will let you know soon. I will talk to you guys soon. And I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're all amazing.